Imagine being 29 years old and your entire life has been training for one single moment. Not a job interview, not a championship game, but stepping into the shoes of the most famous human being to ever walk this earth. That's Jaafar Jackson's reality right now. And trust me, after what critics are saying, he might have just pulled it off. People are calling his performance genuinely uncanny. One reviewer said the entire theater was singing and dancing. Another said this is why we go to the movies. The Michael Jackson biopic just premiered in Berlin, and the internet is not ready for what's coming on April 24th. So today, we're breaking down everything you need to know. The cast, the controversies, the crazy behind-the-scenes drama, and the one question everybody's been asking. Will this movie tell the full truth about Michael Jackson? Let's get into it. Before we talk about the movie, let's set the stage. August 29th, 1958, Gary, Indiana. A boy is born into a family of 9 children, and somehow, someway, that boy becomes the single most recognizable entertainer the world has ever seen, Michael Joseph Jackson. He didn't just make music, he redefined what music could be. He didn't just dance, he made an entire generation forget gravity existed. Moonwalk, Thriller, Billie Jean, Beat It, the sequined glove, the fedora, the one white sock. He was the cultural moment of the 20th century. And yet, despite all the fame, all the glory, all the sold-out stadiums, Michael Jackson's story is one of the most complicated legacies in entertainment history, which is exactly why a biopic about his life is either going to be the greatest thing Hollywood has ever done or the biggest controversy of 2026. Let's talk about the team behind this thing, because on paper, it's seriously impressive. The director is Antoine Fuqua. If you know Training Day, The Equalizer, Emancipation, you know this man doesn't play around. He's known for gritty, intense storytelling, so when his name got attached to this project, fans paid attention. The writer is John Logan. This man wrote Gladiator, he wrote The Aviator, he wrote Skyfall and Spectre. If anyone knows how to craft an epic, larger-than-life story, it's him. And the producer is Graham King, whose GK Films gave us The Departed, Argo, and, most importantly, Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen biopic that grossed over $900 million worldwide. That's the energy they're going for. And Lionsgate is betting big. The budget reportedly ballooned to $200 million after massive reshoots. This is not a small film. This is a blockbuster. Now here is where the story gets truly crazy. Who do you cast to play the most iconic performer in history? You could go with a trained Hollywood actor. You could do a big audition process, pull in names people know. But instead, they went with someone named Jaafar Jackson, Michael's own nephew, Jermaine Jackson's son. And let me tell you why this is wild. Jaafar has spent his entire life, literally his whole existence, in the shadow of his uncle's legacy. He grew up watching people obsess over Michael. He grew up in a family where Michael was the benchmark for everything. And now, he is Michael. The casting process took 2 full years. 2 years of Jaafar preparing, training, being evaluated, and at the end of it, Michael's mother, Grandma Catherine Jackson, personally approved him for the role. She said he embodies her son. When the trailer dropped, fans lost their minds. One post read, "Y'all, this is insanity, the voice, the looks, the laugh, the mannerisms." Someone else wrote, "Hope Jaafar knows his life will never be the same after 2026. And now that the film has screened, critics are saying he wasn't just doing an impression. He delivered something truly grounded and vulnerable, capturing how MJ was a deeply lonely individual who was scarred by fame, showing his flaws alongside the good. Director Antoine Fuqua revealed that when they filmed the stadium concert scenes with over 400 extras, Jaafar walked out on stage, and the extras just started screaming. Fuqua said it was so real and organic they kept adding cameras to capture the crowd's reactions. And every single take, same energy. That is not acting, that is channeling. The supporting cast for this film is absolutely stacked. Coleman Domingo plays Joe Jackson, Michael's controversial father, the man who pushed his sons to greatness but allegedly did it through fear and physical abuse. Early viewers are already calling Coleman monstrous in the role. Oscar conversation? Very possible. Nia Long plays Catherine Jackson, the matriarch, the quiet backbone of that entire family. Miles Teller plays John Branca, Michael's powerful entertainment lawyer and manager. And fun fact, Michael's own daughter Paris Jackson filed a legal objection to Teller's casting. The family drama around this film is almost as interesting as the film itself. Kat Graham plays Diana Ross, Lorenz Tate plays Berry Gordy, Kendrick Sampson plays the legendary Quincy Jones, the genius behind Thriller, and a young newcomer named Giuliano Cruvaldi plays young Michael in his Jackson 5 Days. This film is going to feel like a reunion of legends. Now let's talk about the behind-the-scenes chaos, because this film did not have a smooth road to the cinema. The original runtime was 3.5 hours. At one point, they seriously considered splitting it into 2 movies. Lionsgate's chairman even said they were positioning themselves to deliver more Michaels soon after the first film. Then came the reshoots. the film underwent significant reshoots because the original ending was deemed unusable, largely due to legal issues around how to depict the criminal allegations against Michael Jackson. The reshoots alone reportedly cost an additional $50 million. And then came the controversy that no one can ignore. Michael Jackson was accused of child sexual abuse multiple times throughout his life. The 2019 documentary Leaving Neverland reignited that conversation in a massive way. The director of that documentary publicly criticized this biopic, saying it would glorify someone he believes committed terrible crimes. Others have raised fears that the film might be a sanitized, wasn't he iconic version, and there's been real speculation about whether it will truly tackle the complexities of his life. The film's own press release promises a riveting and honest portrayal of the brilliant yet complicated man that presents his triumphs and tragedies on an epic cinematic scale. But what does honest actually mean when a family is involved in production? When the Jackson estate has a stake in how their loved one is remembered? That's the question that's going to be debated long after the credits roll. Based on everything we know, the film takes us from Michael's earliest days as a child performer in Gary, Indiana, through the formation and rise of the Jackson 5, all the way to the peak of his solo career in the 1980s. We'll see the recording of Thriller, the best-selling album of all time. We'll relive Billie Jean, Beat It, The Girl Is Mine. We'll see the transformation from a kid from Gary to a global icon. One reviewer described a scene featuring human nature as feeling like a spiritual awakening. The film also promises to address Michael's personal struggles, his vulnerabilities, his loneliness, the darker side of his relationship with fame. Whether it goes deep enough on the controversies remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. Early audiences say it makes you smile where it wants to and wince where it needs to. So where does this all leave us? The film premiered in Berlin on April 10th, and the early reactions are overwhelmingly positive. Critics are calling it one of the best music biopics in years. But here's the real question I want to leave you with, and I want you to answer this in the comments. Do you think Hollywood can ever truly tell Michael Jackson's full story? Or will the estate, the family, and the money always get in the way of the truth? Because that's the tension at the heart of this entire project. Michael Jackson is simultaneously the greatest entertainer who ever lived and one of the most controversial figures in pop culture history. Can one movie hold both of those truths at the same time? We'll find out on April 24th. Drop your thoughts below. Are you watching this? Do you think Jaafar can pull it off? And what do you think the film is going to get wrong? I read every comment. Let's talk.